Okay, efficiency. So, how do we become more efficient? Well, let's first look at potential time wasters. I don't want to say they are time wasters because all things in moderation are good. We all know that. But potentially, these things can become time wasters. Log stalking. You know what I'm talking about. Obviously, it's great to get inspiration from other photographers. When we begin to waste time on that, though, is when it begins to actually suck us away from becoming efficient in our businesses. Forums. Again, I'm not here to go against the value forums have. When I have a question, I turn to forums very often. However, some people spend a ton of time on the forums, and that can really make you inefficient. It can really take a lot of your mind power away from what you're doing, so you're not as efficient. Photoshop. And I say Photoshop because we love to get into the files and just start playing and just start moving them around. And 20 minutes later, we're still working on the same image. And while it was fun, are we going to sell that image for what it's worth now? It's hard to say. Slideshows. I once met a photographer who was spending 8 hours just putting together a slideshow for her clients to show them. And I'm sure it was the most amazing slideshow ever. I'm not going to deny that. But is that potentially a time waster? Email. Email is one of those things that I know we all keep open all the time. And whenever that little, it's in the bottom right, and it always has the noise, and then the AOL noise, and then my Outlook has the noise now, and it makes that noise. As soon as we get a new email, we go check it. That is incredibly inefficient. Facebook. All right, well, I don't know what to say about that. Wait till the next one comes up. It's great though. I love Twitter, but even the day job. Even the day job can really be it really gets in the way of the photo business, doesn't it? Like, let's at least be honest with that. So, I don't want to take away from this. All the things I listed here can be inspirational for your business, can be vital for the success of your business. But just like you can't have chocolate cake for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert, all things in moderation. And becoming efficient relies on you guys becoming an expert at managing each of these inspirational things, these things that sometimes I like to call our fun time. And it's vital to manage this so we can stay efficient at our job. Okay, so setting up a system is so important to becoming efficient, you guys. Setting up a system is incredibly important because systems, we really rely on systems as human beings. Oh, okay. We have 2 left over. It's okay, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Setting up a system is vital because as human beings, we rely on habits. And if we don't have habits, we stray. And they say it takes, 21 days or something to form a habit, and it takes like 1 day to break it. But if you don't have a system in place, you're going to break it every time. And so you need to have a system. I would recommend check your email twice a day. I remember when the 4-hour work week came out a couple of years ago, all of a sudden everyone started putting up these autoresponders that said, I'm only checking email once a day. So please bear with me, and then of course you got an email back from 5 minutes later. But I would really encourage you to check your email twice a day, no more. Because very rarely is there something you need to check on that cannot be handled in 2 hours from now. Maybe you start off just checking 4 times a day. Who knows what it is, but what would it look like if you weren't always glued to your email? I bet you would become far, far more efficient. Answer phones during certain periods. Our studio manager down at our business came to me at our studio and said, hey Jared, I'm having a hard time getting all these projects done because I'm constantly answering the phone. And I'm constantly taking care of this, and then I get interrupted. And when I get interrupted, it's hard for me to get back into it. And as soon as I get back into it, the phone rings again, or somebody else calls, or somebody emails. So she said, I'm in from 8 to 4 every day. How about if I answer the phones from 10 to 4, and I get to work on my projects from 8 to 10? Man, she became so much more efficient because of that one little thing we put in place. Between the hours of 8 and 10, we just let the phone ring. It goes to voicemail. You'd be surprised how much people can wait 1 or 2 hours to hear back from us. And then at 10 a.m., we start going to the phones again. Process mail once a day. Limit fun time for your day. We talked about the fun time earlier. Limiting that. Set a boundary for yourself. Don't take it out completely, but limit it. Set yourself a good boundary. Make it a healthy boundary. This one's, I don't know if anybody would like this one, but this will really make you efficient. Turn the internet off for a certain period of the day. You can't go, when you have a mind block, you can't go search you can't go into Google or go into Facebook. Can't go to Twitter, can't go do anything. Even if it's only for a couple of hours a day, you would just be amazed by how efficient you can become. So I want to talk a little about setting up boundaries and accountability. So often people hear boundaries, and when you hear boundaries, you think, oh man, I got into this so I didn't have to have somebody tell me what to do. I got into this so I could get up when I wanted. I got into this so I could work when I wanted and not have to work when I didn't want to. And that is true. However, we do need to have accountability and boundaries. And I'm going to show you how beneficial they can be when paired together. Okay? For example, I recommend certain days off. Certain days off. So I take Sundays off. That's my day off. I go to church. I hang out with my wife. Usually hang out with the family. We'll go for a bike ride. Maybe have dinner with some friends. That's the day that unless somebody wants to book a really, really big wedding, I'm talking tournament town, a really big wedding. But with exceptions, that's the day that I don't work. And I just know that I'm not going to work on Sundays. And I don't have to, it's really very, very therapeutical because you begin to get the mind frame of not having to work. Sundays, your mind instantly shuts off. Because right before I had Sundays as my defined day off, I would notice that that day I'm taking off, I'd still be thinking about work. And I still want to, sneak out and just check the email really quickly. But when Sundays became a patterned, consistent day off, my mind acknowledges Sundays as a day off, and I don't work on Sundays now. And I can honestly say that Sundays are my days off. If I have a Saturday off, that's great. If I can sneak out early on a Monday or go in late on a Tuesday, that's all well and good. And I try to do that. But Sundays are my days off. I have established work hours to some degree. I try to be up and working by 7:30 every morning. Now, I'm a morning person. Don't freak out. I'm not saying you have to get up by 7:30. I like the mornings. But that also allows me to get out of there early. I don't really do well at night. I start to kind of shut down. I can't think very well, and I don't really make much sense. The established work hours help me because I get up and I get going and I'm efficient with that. And I would recommend some boundaries there with you guys. Have a boundary. Don't work 7 days a week. You can't be productive on and on again working 7 days a week. So here's where the accountability comes into play. I like to have a boundary of only going to 1 or 2 networking groups a week in my business. There's local meetings between photographers or between industry events. There's a bridal consulting organization in our area, and I like to limit myself to 1 or 2 of those because if you go to 4 or 5 of them, I have no time to do anything else. And where that boundary comes into play is it's also accountability. Because I only let myself go to 1 or 2, I also make myself go to 1 or 2. And so it's a great accountability because now I can be accountable and actually do that. And so the boundary creates accountability. Likewise, 1 to 2 networking one-on-ones per week. And when I say that, I mean coffee with a coordinator, lunch with a DJ, whatever it is. I have a boundary of doing no more than 1 or 2 and accountability of doing at least 1 or 2. And that way, I consistently force myself every week, no matter how tired I am, how busy I am, and as long as I'm in town, I need to get out there, I need to network. But I don't need to do it too much because then I start to get away from the things I need to do at my business. So with boundaries, pair those with accountability. As a small business owner, we all know that we're synonymous with being a jack of all trades, master of none. And so having these boundaries and accountability really will help you out in becoming more efficient at what you're doing.